international presence through numerous publications in reputed journals, conferences, and newspapers. Beyond academia, Sir actively contributes to global research, serving as a reviewer for esteemed journals like the Global Journal of Labour South Africa and the Journal of HRM USA. He is also on the editorial boards of prestigious international journals. His mentorship extends to Startup India, Be Incube Chhattisgarh, and various research organizations. A dedicated leader, Sir frequently chairs sessions at national and international conferences and contributes to faculty development and management programs for institutions like the IMA and MSME. With this, I humbly invite Sir to take over the session. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Asmi ma'am. Thank you for your kind words. And before I begin my session, I extend a warm good evening to one and all who are present over here, especially from my RFI family, Saurabh Jain sir, Ajay Jain sir, Asmi ma'am, and everyone, Yogaraj ji, who all are behind this session, who has made this interaction possible for us. Uh, so what I would be talking to you in another hour or so is the idea that how we can talk about uh, what we need to look in when we are talking about plagiarism and issues of research ethics. So this two would I would be largely talking about. Uh, before I start with my formal session, I welcome you all and extend very warm good evening to one and all who are present over here. It's always hardly to to interact with people, to know people, all possible due to RFI. So that we sitting in different corners of this country, we are brought together by the efforts of RFI. So thanks to obviously my family of RFI. And I would try and make this session as useful and as of utility to every one of you. Okay, so that we all not only you, don't please don't it's kind of assume ma'am to say that I'm a subject expert. No, okay, we all learn together in a combined way. We learn together. So please take this session as a combined learning. And since we are talking about combined learning, I would request that whenever you would like to add something, or you would, I throw a question to you, or I seek your opinion, please be, please be, uh, you know, uh, please be kind enough to share that with us, all of us. As I tell, see, we all come from different background, different institutions, different practices, different cultures, and whatnot. Okay, and when I say culture, I'm strictly focusing only on the organizational culture as of now. Okay, so we have got different practices followed at our institutions, at our uh, at our places of work, professionally, how we interact with people. So it would be always better that we all contribute to this combined wisdom of the things. So that would be a great thing to happen around. So that's my would be my sincere request. So whenever you feel like speaking, please raise this hand. Okay, or whenever you feel like contributing, or if you have got some doubt or anything, please raise this hand. And once you have spoken, I would appreciate if you can lower it down. Okay, so with this understanding, let's begin with it. So naturally, our largely we focus upon research paper writing, obviously, but are there some PhD scholars also in this group? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Chaturjula. Anyone else? Okay. And anyone else who is a PhD scholar in this group? Anyone who is a PhD scholar in this group who is pursuing his PhD? Okay, not an issue, not an issue. So, see, So you may not be too new to this concept of plagiarism. I'm pretty sure. Okay, tell me one more thing before I start. How how many of you have any institutional access to, or your university or the institution where you work, you have gotten access to an anti-plagiarism software, maybe like Turnitin or any other anti-plagiarism software? How many of you have got an access to anti-plagiarism software personally, or through organization or institution? Anyone? Anything? Any one of you? If you have got an institutional access or a personal access to any type of or any anti-plagiarism software, maybe Turnitin or any one of them. I just want to understand that, do you have any, uh, say, experience of working with an anti-plagiarism software? That would be. Okay. So I have got someone saying yes. Great. Great. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So, with this basic understanding, let's try and do something for you today on the issues or on the concerns raised as far as research ethics and plagiarism. Okay. So, this is what we would be talking about. And before I start off with, with what research ethics and plagiarism would mean, see, let's understand this first and primary idea that people extend trust in our research. Okay, it is something that people still say, if it is something as a medical research, then obviously you never know what people would be doing or how people would be following you. So even I see people, those who are on Insta and things like that. So I don't know whether they say it right or they are just making a shot or whatever the reel or whatever the case may be. But their advices are really taken, that somebody dressed in a doctor's uniform would be advising you something, that do this, don't do this, things like that. And I'm pretty sure that people, some of the people at least would take it seriously, and they would start following it as it is, without even taking their doctor's advice. Okay, some of us maybe maybe seeing something and then uh, joining in something. Many of the people I see that they look out for those, what I call it, those kitchen hacks. Okay, that that how, what type of medicines or what type of natural things can be used for helping you in any ailments. So, what are the doctors available in the kitchen itself? So, use this combination and things. So, my point that I'm trying to make is that people do trust what you have to say, especially in medicines. Even otherwise, also, you never know that who would be referring to your research and in what capacity will they be referring to your research, like. Okay. So, it would also be the thing that that say, for example, uh, you would be writing a review of literature, so you would be obviously referring to someone else's research, whether in a research paper or in a PhD. You would be referring to someone else's research. So you would be, you would be calibrating your research against those researchers. Okay? That, okay, this is what I found, and this is what the other research is trying to say. So is it in the same capacity, or is it in a juxtaposition, or it is antagonist to what earlier researchers have said? So you try and prove those things. So either of these things, okay, either we say that, okay, we are on the same grounds or we are on a different grounds. So people do refer to our researchers. Plus, I also understand that that even for at times government of government or government bodies, various ministries or departments in government may also refer to your researchers. When I remember, when I was pursuing my PhD, I had got an offer from a government department that if you can, though mine was a slightly different idea with them. So they mostly were doing it on contract employees, okay, and majorly on the plantation labors. Okay. So, but they wanted that, if I can help them with research of plantation labors. So even, government also looks out for such projects. Government also looks out for such type of researches. If you have done some researches, you never know who would be, in ministry reading that report or doing something from your report. Okay. Like say, if you see on the right hand side of your screen, I put up a small screenshot from our respected Minister of Education, Sri Inder Singh Ji Parmar ji. And he has referred to a research by one of the most leading institute in engineering in Madhya Pradesh, SGSITS. And he has referred to a research conducted by some students on recycling under the able guidance of Dr. Dhakar. So, that's how, even people also refer, government of India, ministries and governments also refer to your researches, and they would, they would be happy telling people that, look, this is what is happening around, and this is how things are changing across. So people, it's not only about that people post on their social medias, but yes, people also refer to such type of researches. Okay, if you read some of the research paper, research things, then obviously, the government also refers to that. So the point that it is that the point that I want to stress is that you need to be honest, okay, with the research that you are doing, because people do extend their trust in research. So this is what largely we would be talking about, because since people have got a faith on your research, people have got, people are looking forward to the researches that are done. Hence, it becomes very important that that we do researches ethically by giving proper citations, by referring to giving proper uh, due credit to the people, okay, whom we have referred to. We refer to them in the right manner, in the right perspective, not changing or not bending the rules for what has not been said. Okay. uh, of late, I have been, I have stayed with this idea, and I remember, if this is what my teacher used to tell me when I was pursuing my MBA, that uh, statistics is a lie. So that data lies. And I was, I was the first one to ask, question that, sir, tell me that you're saying that statistics is a lie, that, you are, we are referring to it as a science which involves data, numbers. We perform calculations on that thing. So how mathematics can lie? So, then the entire base. So if I say 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, then I should believe that, because, somehow I would prove that 2 plus 2 is equal to 5 rather than 2 plus 2 being 4. So the idea is not that the data is incorrect, or that will be talking separately, but the idea is that the data does not speak for itself. We are the one who would largely make the data speak. Okay? Say, for example, let me pose you a simple question. If you carried out a survey on customer satisfaction, okay? Now listen to this question. You carried out a survey for customer satisfaction. 50% of customers are very satisfied. So, you created that Likert scale. Okay, 1 to 5 type of a Likert scale, where 5 is the most satisfied and 1 is the least satisfied. So you create a Likert scale, you got filled up questionnaires from your customers, and to find out that 50% of your customers are satisfied. Then last 25 are not are dissatisfied. Okay. I'm not putting very, or I'm not putting a degree to it. The last 25 are dissatisfied. The middle 25 are, in between satisfied, not satisfied types. Okay. Yet to decide types. Here comes my question to you. I hope this situation is clear. 50 are satisfied, the last 25 are dissatisfied, then next 25 are yet to in the 50-50 position types. As a management, where should you focus? On which customer should you focus? This is the data which, or this is the research which was carried out. So 50% satisfied, 25% dissatisfied, the another 25% satisfied, or they're not very sure. Which part of the customer should you focus upon? Yes, please. Anyone?
The customer who are not satisfied, and in the middle, those who are confused, we will focus on them, why they are not satisfied.
Ma'am, you are saying the last 50%?
Yeah, the second one is those who are not satisfied, 25%, and then those who are in the like in the confusion stage, why they are confused, why they are not satisfied, we will focus on them.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else, please? Anyone else who would like to contribute? Which part of the customers would you like to, if you were management, which part of the customers would you like to focus upon? 50% who are satisfied, 25% who are dissatisfied, or the 25%, as ma'am said, who are confused, neither satisfied nor dissatisfied? Which one would you like to focus upon?
25%, which is dissatisfied.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to talk about this? See, the idea is not that which answer is right or which answer is wrong. Okay, we can always debate and discuss upon that. But I hope you are getting my point, that the idea is that the data does not speak for itself. As a part of management, as a part of what you have to take a decision. Okay, to decide about that thing, that which part of the customers are you satisfied. Okay, you can even as a manager, you can also say that this research was wrong, and look at this questionnaire, this was biased, so let me reframe the questionnaire and get on to another research. Okay, and you would try and repeat the research unless and until you get a so-called favorable data. So it's always up to you, that what you want to do with the data. Okay, whether it's up to you to decide that what is which one be the easy target. So obviously the easiest would be the 25 who are confused. That would be the easiest, because if this 25 go and mix with the last 25, then you would have 50-50 data between satisfaction and dissatisfaction. So it's all up to you to decide that where, because see, and to my understanding, that 25 who are dissatisfied with you, if you push them, you have to actually push them very hard to get into the so-called satisfied range. Okay, so I hope my concept is you are able to get my concept, that the data does not speak for itself. You can be very biased in in the way you look at the data, in the way you make up the data, in the way you present the data. Okay, so it can be right from a everyday data to a to a specialized research data. It can all be a farce. You can you can play around with any data and anything to produce any type of result. Okay, irrespective of the fact that whether that data was suitable for that or not. So hence, it as a researcher, it the burden it lies on us, not only to collect the data or put up the right tool for the data, but to interpret the data right. Okay, to give a right idea to the people that, okay, this is what it is, and also the research should focus upon that why it is. So please focus on the why concept also in the research, not only by saying that okay, this many percentage was okay with it, this many percentage was not okay with it. No, okay, go beyond and tell the reason to the people that as to why people were not okay with it, why such type of data. That is what is something that we can always look into. Okay, so these are the things that I would be largely talking to you today. Okay, these are the issues that we will be talking as far as the publication ethics are concerned. Okay? So including plagiarism. So that is what we would be talking to you, and anything that you want to pick up, you can add on to it, in anything like that. Okay, so let's start with it. So let me start with this primary idea that you know I would divide it into two things. See, normally what we do is that we write a usual type of a disclaimer in research that this research would be used only for academic purposes and this and that. Okay. Not trying to tell people that what exactly are we looking forward to. And this becomes a very serious question when it comes to medical research. Because then you would be trusting drugs or you would be trusting some process or procedures. Of late you must believe that in any thanks to social media, anything is a wildfire now these days, and any miscalculation from your side and it would become wildfire. uh, I tell you of my own idea into it. When I was doing pursuing my PhD, so I went on with questionnaires, and I would make them write their the questionnaires and things like that. Okay, the demographic, basic demographic. So during pilot study, it also included the name and the name of the organization. Now, slowly, this, there is an industrial area in which I went on to do my research. Very soon, within a week or so, it started going around in people that there is some man who travels from another city, and he's collecting some data. He's collecting a questionnaire. Okay, he goes, he gets the questionnaire filled from you, and this contains this, that, he would ask about your name, organizational name, how much do you earn, um, you know what is the status. There were certain demographic question, and then about the labor welfare questionnaire. So slowly, the idea was not this. The idea that traveled was not that there is a person who comes on to collect the data on labor welfare. No, that was not the scene. Now, most of the people get around with the idea that he's spying on us. Okay, he's sent by some HR of the company. Okay, and he's trying to spy on us. And some of them actually went on to say that, okay, if you fill up your questionnaire, we have our name written, we have our organization's name written, so you can very well go and tell these people that this is what it would be like. And or some people told me that, okay, why don't you do one thing? Tell me that how should I answer this question? Well, you want to ask about, you have some confusion in the knowledge, then please, in the language of the questionnaire, because that was, originally from English, it was translated to a Hindi language. I would come to that part later. So I asked them that whether, is there the language issue? So please give me a feedback so that, I can correct the language. No, that is not an issue. You tell us that where should we tick in? Well, based on what idea you have got, okay, that how much company is doing welfare measures for you. So give that also. You tell us that whether we should tick in. You want to tick in on one, or you want to tick on mostly on five. How is your research outcomes? Okay. And I was surprised that why these people are asking me questions like this. Okay. That primarily the idea that I got from them, or the what I could sense from them, is the thing that they did not trust it. They have got trust issues. That one, as I told you, that he might be some someone sent from the HR, or he's trying to collect data for companies, and then he would go and tell this to companies that look, your workers are this, your workers are not happy about the welfare things and things like that. And you understand, workers' data become a very sensitive thing for companies. Okay. Uh, and there were questions connecting with their satisfaction and things like that. So either that was, of a cause of worry to them, or they were, slightly not inclined to answer. Initial questionnaire length was around 107 questions. So they were not inclined to answer, turn pages and answer. Okay. So this gave me two primary ideas or two primary feedbacks. One, one that you need to, establish a trust between you and your respondents. Okay. It is generally not possible if you have got a so-called forwarded type of Google link. Okay, you keep receiving might be a Google link on. I'm sure that some of you might be in some research groups or some teachers group or some academician group where you would be receiving such type of links. Yes, do you receive such links of questionnaires to answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And do you answer that?
Yes, sir. If you know the person who has sent the link for the research, if
Okay.
he's an acquaintance.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
If he's an acquaintance. Ma'am, let me ask you another question. Okay. All those who said yes, that questionnaire is collecting your email. If not your mobile number becomes very personal, but at least that is collecting your email now. Are you
Yes,
comfortable
sir.
with it? Are you
Yes, sir.
comfortable
Yes,
with it?
sir. Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, how good of you people. Then I will also send some of my research questionnaires to you.
Yes. Yes, sir. Because I know that person who is doing the research.
Great. And ma'am, say for example, you don't know the person. It has come with some. You know that he is a person in the group. Okay. His name shows some professor on WhatsApp, but you don't know the person. Now,
The-
would you
Sir,
Then
I
answer?
may not respond.
Yes, Ankita ma'am, you were saying something.
Sir, I may not respond, but if he means wants to connect with me, then only if I know that research is valid, then he wants a survey on it, then only I can go for it.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Abha ma'am, you were also saying something. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yes,
Ankita.
yes. Yes, sir. If that supposing that link has come via a friend of mine, a friend messages me, you please
No,
kindly fill this.
that link that has come in a research group, not through any friend. In an open
No,
research
sir.
group, that link
Then I will be doubtful whether I will
without.
be filling that. Yeah.
Okay. So, see, that's what my point is. That people actually, even from the idea that we all come from the same fraternity, still we may have some issues. There would be some uh, concerns raised over the privacy, the type of data that you are collecting, and whatnot. Okay. Uh, I, 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 I see many questionnaires asking your name, then your income, okay, even in the range also, but income in the range, then your email IDs are collected. I don't know what you are wanting to do. How does it matter that if a person is named A or B is answering your question? Okay. Then they would tell me that, sir, you don't know. If we don't ask the name, na, my guide has told me, or if my senior has told me that, how would I then establish that whether this research is authentic or not? Okay. How would I establish the authenticity of this report? So there are many other ways to establish the authenticity of research. Go for screeners, go for courtesies. And looking that you would understand that whether this person has made the research, the data has been cooked at home or actually you have gone in the field. Beyond this also, it's always better. So what I would do, once I learned this feedback, coming back to my case. So once I learned this feedback from the people, So what I would do is that I would carry my PhD registration forms all the time, and I would show it to them first that see, I am pursuing my PhD. Okay, this I am named so and so. This is my PhD letter, and then I removed some of the from some so-called 107 questions. I reduced those number of questions, and I told them that you can you take your time to fill up this questionnaire. I don't need your name. I don't need things like this. Okay, anything which are a so-called identifiers. Okay, where you feel in doubt that somebody can go back and identify you. Okay, or I can capture some personal data from you. I removed all such questionnaires, and I would talk to them. I would, I would make them home before I, picked up that question. That was a different idea altogether in 2014, 10 years from now. Now we see that more and more Google Forms are coming up. And as Abha ma'am said correctly, and even Ankita ma'am also, that if these things come from someone who from an acquaintance of yours, things will become easy. So rather than maybe if you're wanting to post onto that page, rather than you posting into the group or you posting into the group, if you can ask your friends, okay, who are known to others or who are senior academicians or something or someone like that, if they can send it personally. They can recommend it, like say you post it and someone writes a recommendation that okay, Abha ma'am is writing for me that I know this person. Okay, if you can please help him by answering this question. So because of Abha ma'am, people would answer my question. Okay, something like that. So if you can connect with people, if you can create that trust, because if you want actual answers, then you need to have trust from respondents. It's not that only for medical data or income related data, or if you're trying to get some personal data that people, you should know that people know. Okay. If you actually want some analysis from the result, you must know the person, especially in the electronic media. Okay. In the electronic form. In this digital world, you must know the people. You cannot, you cannot be a spy around, you cannot be spying around, you cannot be masking people. And please understand this also that people would give you a consent or approval to the research or they would share data with you only if they feel that this is not going in any way to breach their privacy. Okay. You're not trying to collect any such data or any such thing which may be offending to a person. So hence it's always recommended that you take care of your questionnaire and tell people for what reasons you are collecting that. You can write a note, not only a standard disclaimer that this is collected for this purpose and it is purely used for academic purpose. No, you give them a small background of what your research is all about and then ask them for help for in research that okay, I'm pursuing my PhD or I'm trying to write a research paper on this proper subject. This subject is, what is the scope that you are of the subject that you maybe in a line or two, and then try and tell that okay, maybe a small paragraph, not extending say 4 or 5 lines. Okay, don't make it a literature. So maybe 5, 6 lines trying to explain to them that this is the researches, this is why this, this is where your help is exactly wanted. This is what may be the likely outcome of this research. Okay. So give them a summary of that thing. And if required, you can speak that summary also. Okay. Even if you're forwarding a Google message, write that summary along with the Google message. Okay, along with the form link. That this is what is the research all about. This is what the request is all about. So do that and obtain the consent from the participants. Okay. And as of now, I'm not taking up. You should also know. I'm not taking up the first part of it. What it says that that authors and researchers must be aware of the publication guidelines. I will come to that part later. However, I would like to show you something on that idea. Please allow me a minute. I'd also like to show you some idea on this. I was reading it from, this idea that you need to, inform people. And unlike, as I was telling you, write a small paragraph, maybe few lines explaining them that how it would be, what would be the purpose of this research or how this research would be useful for the society, or what would be the purpose of this research. So try, and if you can try write something like this, that would be always, appreciated. Okay. Uh, so taking you back onto this, now what happens that, say for example, you are doing the research, okay, and popularly the research has got a different bent of idea. Say for example, uh, whom you would say attribute major decisions taken in a family, a male or a female. Normally, I'm asking. Normally, who would take a major decision in family, male or female?
Sir, both. As the situation is,
Ankita ma'am, see
differ.
that, a very very tricky type of an answer. I'm not being gender biased when I'm asking this question. I'm trying to very generalize. I'm trying to ask a very general type of a question. See, who would be like say who would be taking a major investment decision generally? Generally, I'm
Sir,
asking.
my father,
Means the male.
Males.
male.
Male.
Great. Now, say for example, uh, I did a research on this, okay, and my research found out that, and I collected somehow. I collected this data to find out that major of the decisions are taken in the family by females. Okay, how many of you would agree with this research?
It can be.
Would you agree, Abba ma'am? As a reviewer,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
asking. As a reviewer, not as a reader, not as a female. I'm asking. I'm asking you as a reviewer of my paper. Okay. Yes, Ankita ma'am.
Then no. Then no, sir.
Then no. No. Okay. Yes, Abha ma'am.
Yes,
You,
sir.
you, you,
No. Then I
okay.
would.
You would have some, some queries with me. Yes.
No, no, no query, sir. Then, as a reviewer, I would see, I would like the male should take investment decisions in the family. That
Okay.
that is how I would look at it.
Okay. Ankita ma'am.
Sir, same goes. Same
Okay.
answer.
So what now what would I be expected to do? See, what generally happens is that in two areas. Look it from a larger two areas. One, if I have not done a real research type of things, I've done more of what I should say, more of a library based assignment, then I may say anything. Okay, because I don't know exactly what the research has to say. Okay. And hence that would become a question mark of the research. Now, since somebody of reviewer will raise a question mark on my paper, so what I will have to do, I have got two options, or rather three options. One, I abandon that research, I withdraw that paper. Two, I recollect the entire data. Okay, I recheck the questionnaire, because obviously, if you ask the wrong question, you would have, you haven't done any pilot study. You have just floated the questionnaire without even checking that what your questionnaire wanted to ask. Okay. Okay. Somebody has raised a question with me, I believe. Uh, Bharat sir, I believe. I couldn't attend research session. Probably Sharad Sharma sir, RFI would be taking care of this. I'm really I won't be the right person to answer this question. So Yogaraji, I would request you to please look into the request by Sharad Sharma sir and answer it suitably. Okay. Okay. So continuing with it. As I was telling that if I were either, I had messed around with my questionnaire. Okay, I've never checked it, never gone for a pilot study. I've no, I've done the research. Somehow I've filled up the questionnaire without actually getting the questionnaire filled up. Know all the ways around. Okay, so this you may end up with such type of results. And now, since the reviewer has taken an objection, so what do you think? What would be the easiest way that I can adopt? I give you three strategies. One, I take back my paper, saying that okay, sorry, it was my fault. I take back my paper. Two, I reconnect, I redesign the questionnaire. I got my fault. I redesign the questionnaire. I do my research and collect the data. Right? Three, I manipulate the data to more be suitably around what Abha ma'am and Ankita ma'am have to say, which you think would be most of the people who are likely to do. Out of these three strategies, which strategies are likely people are to adopt?
Sir, option 2 is appropriate, I think.
Ma'am, it is appropriate, but do you think that people would adopt option two?
No, sir, may
Okay,
not be.
may not be. Okay, so
Mm.
option three, to your understanding, would be the easiest one. Yes,
Yes, sir.
because you manipulate the data, you manipulate the responses here and there. You do three or four, four to five. You manipulate responses to say that okay, the reviewer was right that I rechecked my data and there was some corrections in the data or there was some wrong test put upon the data and there was some typographical errors in the data and now it is corrected and it says that most of the decisions are taken by men. Okay, so what exactly are you doing? You are you are raising a problem onto you are raising a question mark onto your accuracy of data. Okay, so that is a serious concern. Either you are trying to falsify it, you're trying to make the data by manipulating that data, or you are trying to say something which the data does not support. After all, in a research paper, who looks into your data? Okay, so it's always easy that you irrespective of whatever your data. I give you an example. Okay, that you can be very biased with the data. Who actually looks into the data? You can be biased with your data. You can make the data speak what you are trying to say, and you can justify it, and hence done. So this becomes a serious offense. Okay, in research, that you are trying to say something or you are trying to show something which is not the case. Now we come on to the basic idea or an important idea of plagiarism. I will talk about self-plagiarism later. And before I start with it, let me put up a question that in order to do research, whether if you're writing a research paper or you're pursuing your PhD, you would be referring to other researches, yes, which are already done in the area or almost similar areas. Yes,
Yes, sir.
great. So, Ankita ma'am, answer me this thing. Abha ma'am, Ankita ma'am, or anyone who are listening to me, uh, you can answer this to me. That I refer to say I'm writing a research paper. I refer to 30 research papers. Okay? And say out of 30, 10 I put it in my review of literature. Okay, so 10 research papers were in my review of literature. And rest of the 20 were, I referred to them, I picked up from them, I wrote, it on my own language. And I referred only 10 papers, when it came to citation or when it came to references. I gave references of only 10 research papers which are present in my review of literature. Okay. Am I right? I believe someone's mic is just left open. Sharat Sharma sir's mic is just left open. Sharat sir, if you can mute yourself, thank you very much. Yes, tell me. So I repeat my question that out of the 30 research papers I've used, I'm referring only to or I'm giving references or citation only of the 10 researches which are used in review of literature. Rest, it's all dabba gold types. So it's all, I'm not doing anything about it because I believe that I have changed it in my own language and I have put things here and there. I made my own way of expressions. Why I should be referring to research? Why I should be, giving references to the next 20 researchers? Shall I be?
No, sir, can I answer?
Please, Ankita ma'am.
Sir, I think it's not right because I am taking help from those 30. I should mention that they have written this. When I have something, any innovative idea or innovative writing skills, then only I can attach to it. But they have presented it or represented it. I should mention their citations or names, I think.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Anyone else who thinks on a similar line as Ankita ma'am is thinking? Anyone else who is thinking on a similar line as Ankita ma'am is thinking? Okay. Now, Ankita ma'am, I pose my second question. Okay, somebody was trying to say something. If I missed that, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, sir. I agree with Amrita, ma'am.
Hmm, hmm. Okay. Now, to both the females, I have got another question. Okay, to both my learned participants, I have got another question. If I refer to all, if I give references to all the 30, say, researchers whom I have referred to, then what would be my contribution? People would question me that you are not made a research paper. You have just put in, just read 30 research papers, put it in your language, and that's it.
Sir, I could conclude a suggestion on it if there is any gap. I can say if there is any gap in the problem, I could
Mhm.
suggest it.
Okay. So what would be my contribution? If people would question my contribution, what should I say? They would be saying that you referred to 30 researchers and you have written your own research. Now you are calling it as my research paper. Why it should be your research paper? It's just
No, sir, I should not conclude that it's my research paper. I am
hmm.
working on it and I'm suggesting something more, which I think or I thought my point of perspective or viewpoint.
Yes, anyone who agrees with me that if I give all credit to those 30 people, what credit I would carry with me? That what I have done with my, if some in some interview people ask me that what have you done, Savraji? What I would say, what is my contribution in that research? If I give credit to everyone.
Sir, I think you are looking at a particular research area or a topic from your perspective, and you cannot just scratch from, empty space. So you are referring to all the previous researchers that has been already done in the same area you're working on, and you have to acknowledge that yes, these all researches have been taken place in this area. Now, this is this is my contribution to this, and that's where the research gap you are looking into comes. So you cannot just assume that all the previous works are the originals ones and yours you have nothing in contribution to the area. Yes, you are looking
Hmm.
at other works so that you will get a some kind of idea about the whole area. You'll get to know what all researchers has already been made in the same area, and then you are bringing in your point. So you are becoming the 31st person who is
Okay.
giving a new contribution to that new area. This is what I think.
Great. Thank you very much for your contribution. So, absolutely right on every one of you is absolutely right on this. This question was posed by one of my PhD aspirants while I was talking this in the PhD coursework. So this was, this was asked. Can you please mute your mic? Can you please mute yourself? Thank you. So, this question was posed to me, and this gentleman who was a PhD scholar went on to discuss another for another half an hour trying to convince me that, sir, this would mean that, I have. So he also argued that, okay, I am finally giving credit to 10 people now. Why you want another 20 people to be credited? And then I have put in my own language. Then I forgot that where I have, referred to Abha ma'am, where I have referred to Ankita ma'am, where I have referred to this or where I have referred to that. So I'm not looking into that. So, but ultimately the answer is right that this is not your idea. As you are trying to tell it, absolutely right. This is not your idea. No, you have taken the idea from someone. Your idea is inspired by someone. So if your idea is inspired by someone, give credit to them. And that's how, this you would be saved from that. I give you an extreme of the idea. And see, in this digital AI world where we live in, catching up references is a easiest thing that you can do. That who all have referred to your data or who have not given a credit to you, catching up that research area is very easy. Unlike those previous eras or previous things, wherein you can. I remember, still remember a case from a so-called vice chancellor of a university, and like say that I'm referring to that era where it was mostly that there were offline FTPs, so people would travel AICT sponsored FTPs or UGC sponsored FTPs where people would actually travel from one place to another and they would attend those FTPs. And this gentleman came up to this library and as a teacher after the evening classes were over, so he would go and visit that central library of the university, trying to see that what are the type of books and this. As a teacher, that is what we all generally would do. Okay. So he went on to a PhD section to find out that, okay, what are the type of PhDs being awarded in this university. And to his surprise, he found almost similar type of a topic of his PhD. Now that made this idea more interesting. So when he entered into that thing, to find out that 120 pages of his PhD has been exactly copy pasted. That means as it is photocopied and pasted of analysis into this gentleman's PhD, who was the then vice chancellor of some university. So he persuaded that case, and cutting short the long story, after 1.5 years, he was able to prove that this 120 pages are from exactly copy pasted from his uh, thesis, and and thereby his PhD was cancelled and he was taken off from the VC things and what all happened. So that's what is the serious impact of plagiarism, and you might have heard other cases also. Okay, so it can, if you are picking up from something, it's always better that you give credit to them. Okay, even if you are picking the shortest phrases also. If you're picking up a phrase from that research, give credit. That would not be harm to you. Okay. Rather, it would be a good thing on to you. If you would see, if in the research paper, the more number of credits that you give would show two things. One, that is that in the depth of the references that you have got would show the amount of reading or the sources that you have referred to reach a conclusion. Two, it also it will also save you from plagiarism, overall plagiarism. See, if you refer to 10 resources, the chances of plagiarism are high because the chances are that you might have picked up a larger chunk from a particular source. The chances of getting plagiarized are very high. Rather than this, if you refer to say 20 different resources, okay, if you double the resource or triple the resources, the chances of you getting plagiarized or higher on a plagiarism score would be low, because then you have picked up only small parts or small portion, and that you have converted into your own language and presented it that way. The best idea to save yourself from plagiarism is that don't try to pick up a larger chunk, as I said. Try and avoid definitions. Okay? Don't pick up many definitions from it, especially in a research paper. Okay, because the more definitions you pick up and put them in inverted commas, because all good plagiarism software, including Turnitin, would understand anything put in inverted commas as something which is which has to be excluded from counting plagiarism. Okay. And please understand that plagiarism has got a very different idea in the Indian universities and in the Western universities. I was introduced to this idea of plagiarism in 2009. Okay, when when I started working for a UK based university. Okay, so ever since that to 2024, when we were associated with a UK based university, we were using Turnitin. And let me honestly tell you that the way Western people look at plagiarism and the way Indian people look at plagiarism are strikingly different. Okay. So you need to be clear about that. What is the overall percentage of plagiarism which is allowed, or what is the how much plagiarism is allowed from a single source? We would come to that part. If you remember, I told you this thing that I would talk to you about this. If you can read the first line, authors and researchers must be aware of the publication guideline, okay, and adhere to the rules and regulations. Here comes, and here I use it. Okay. See, most of us in some hurry to get it published, what we do, would publish it, would send it to multiple sources. Okay. Now that is what is a problem. Why that becomes a problem? Because not only ethically it is wrong, but it is technically also wrong. Let me explain this to you. And as I said, I would explain it this concept also, self-plagiarism. Okay. So let me explain these two concepts: the author's idea and submission fraud, and then I would also explain the concept of self-plagiarism. You all understand that even a smaller journal also. Okay, and obviously you won't be trying to pick up any small journal. You understand that any Scopus or any good journal would have a gestation period of around say 6 months to a year or even more than. Okay. So they would have that would be a time that it would take to review and put up the paper in place after multiple reviews and things like that. So what you do, you submit it to multiple journals in the hope that the one who publishes the fastest would be the one whom you would taking it up. So with that, so what you would do, since your paper is received by a journal, the chances are that before sending it for review, uh, they would be, because as a reviewer, that is what we write in our review also. A standard line I write in all my reviews, that you have to check for the plagiarism of the paper, and if it falls within your acceptable limit or plagiarism, as per if this paper is correct as per the plagiarism policy, then these are the changes which are suggested, or these are, you know, uh, this is what further you can do with this paper, accept, reject, modify, whatever the case may be. So all, or say for example, before sending the paper, you may be there are many so-called free softwares which are available. Remember, I asked you a question at the start of this program that if you are familiar with any of, or if you have used any of such anti-plagiarism software. So please understand this thing, that either you have sent it to a journal who is running a plagiarism check on it, or you are using a so-called free software or a paid software even for checking plagiarism. The problem is only one thing, that once this paper is picked up, it would be sitting on their database. Okay, for if you are checking it free, paid, or any journal. Now, next time you submit it to some other sources, then the chances of getting self-plagiarized will be high. Okay, try and understand this thing. You submit paper to journal A. Now it's sitting on the database of journal A. Okay, it's sitting on their server. Now, when journal B would search it, it would find a similar match. Okay, that's a similar type of paper is sitting on journals A's database or some server of at some place. Okay? That means the easiest way that it would throw plagiarism. So now that would be a self-plagiarized paper, because it would be taken that you might have written a similar paper earlier, and now you are just trying to change or modify something and give it a shape of a new paper. So that would throw up self-plagiarism. Okay. So it is always advisable that one, you don't do this thing that you submit it to multiple journals. And to avoid submitting it to multiple journals, what you should be doing is You should be, you know, you should not, read the author's guideline first. Try and see that, okay, how much time is it generally take to review? That would be written in all good journals would write that. If it is not written, write an email to the editor asking about that. How much time is it going to take to publish my paper, or what is the what is the in general period that in which you publish the paper? So, say for example, that was 3 months. You already waited for 3 months, but nothing has come up. You have given a reminder, but nothing has come up. Before you withdraw your paper and send it to some other journal, ask your, ask your editor that I'm sending, no, I'm no longer interested in getting this paper published. I want to withdraw this paper. Please delete it from your database, especially from the anti-plagiarism software database. And this becomes a second precaution also for you. If you are using any anti-plagiarism software, which is which is a type of free type of a software or even paid software, irrespective of or an organizational software, whatever the case may be, if you don't have the administrative right to delete the paper from the database, once your plagiarism is checked, please don't give it paper to them. Don't submit paper over there. Okay? So that would be a problem for you. So, however, the idea is that you can always include, you present that paper and then include it in once the improvement are done in the paper and then you submit it. That's more than welcome. Okay? Even for that example, as a case, we would be wanting that you have already taught that case twice, okay, or at two levels before you are submitting that for a good journal for publication. As I was telling you, that you make certain changes and you try and publish that. So making some modification here and there. The problem is that you may be caught in self-plagiarism. Okay. So be aware of that. So that is not ethically correct. Also, the bigger problem is that you will be caught in self-plagiarism. So no, either it can be a major thing that you are just trying to whitewash the major things. You're just trying to rename, reframe the title types, and rest everything remains the same. Or what you can do is you can some part is common and the other part you keep changing. Okay, again some cosmetic changes. So either salami slicing or a major type of duplicate publication. So people are wanting to increase their H index or their citations. So what they do at times, they cite their paper in their in in their own paper to make sure that or to say in that way that okay, this paper was done. Okay, so and this may carry no relevance. I'm not saying that self citation is wrong. It is right. But the problem is that you are self citing the paper in some other paper which has got no connection to it. But just to you create either some connection, a remote connection, or what you say, you refer to it some way, whether it may or may not exactly connect. So that may be a problem. Okay. And here comes a major question. Please allow me 1 minute, please. So no, and say this becomes a very important question. I'm speaking on a public platform, so please don't get mind me telling this thing. That ask this question to yourself first. What is your contribution that you can be labeled as a co-author? With no offense to anyone. See, if you are a PhD guide, if as your scholar I am publishing something out of my PhD, then obviously I should be putting it up that okay, since you guided me throughout the research. So as a part of that thing, not only as a part mark of respect, but as a mark of ethically, it also it would be asked for that it's always better that you connect back with people, telling that, okay, since he was the overall, he has guided the entire research. Otherwise, just by being a guide of someone, does it makes you morally and ethically eligible? Morally and ethically eligible to be a co-author. Okay, does it makes you that? Or for example, if I tell you that, okay, next time, Ankita ma'am, if you do some research, now include my name into it. See, you have heard my profile. I am a reviewer in so many paper, good journals. So I would, I can actually help you in getting that published and things like that. Or say if your director asks you, or some HOD of your or senior colleagues of you ask you, okay, you need to actually ask yourself this question: what have you exactly done? Say, for example, tomorrow someone of you connects back with me asking that, okay, sir, I am doing research on this thing, and can you help me with some basic understanding? Say we have got a discussion on say for half an hour on this thing. Does that makes me eligible to be a co-author? I ask you. I repeat my question. Say tomorrow you connect with me for some of your research help, okay, and we have a good discussion for say 20-30 minutes on the type of research and the questionnaire or the tools or anything like that, okay. Does that makes me a general research discussion, okay, relating to your topic of research or things like that? Now, does that makes me eligible to become a co-author? What do you think?
No, sir.
Say to some extent, but not.
So I hope you got my question. Okay.
Yes,
This
sir.
question, you keep asking yourself. Okay. All the guides who are listening to me, all my fellow guides who are listening to me, all my senior colleagues who are listening to me, ask yourself this question: that what makes you eligible to be a co-author? Okay. Are you eligible enough to be a co-author?
Mm,
Now, at times you may know what we do in that case, that we would do a research in some organization of our friend who might have helped you in getting some data. You do a research on your own students. Do you think that that may create a conflict of interest? Would that research be purely unbiased? People do write a standard line, okay, that there was no conflict of interest. Because at times there may be a conflict of interest, a serious conflict of interest, that you collected the data from your own organization, you collected the data from your friend's organization. uh, Sir, if you can please mute yourself. Thank you. So people might have collected from different from some from a known type of an organization, and that can be an direct and indirect influence. Okay, so conflict of interest, that's that has become almost common to almost all of the journals, that they collect data, or they write a standard line that there was no conflict of interest involved, because that is what shows that you are unbiased in your approach. And once you declare that there was a conflict of interest, then obviously the reader needs to be very precautionary in their in believing what you are saying through this research. That's the idea, that why conflict of interest is being taken care of, why conflict of interest is declared types. Okay. Now, most of this I have already explained through various ideas. Still, you can go through this thing. Anything you want me to explain it further, or any explanation that you want me to be talking to you, uh, I can talk about. So don't try to don't try to fool around. You have got AI tools, you have got anti-plagiarism tools, which are even recognize AI content. Even if they don't recognize AI content, forget about it. I'm seeing a new trend coming in that the publishers would ask that "Ki you produce an anti-plagiarism or you produce a declaration and an anti-plagiarism report telling that ki this report, this paper is not plagiarized or this chapter of yours is not plagiarized, and neither plagiarized normally or you have included any AI based content. That means you have not picked up any content from chat gpt or any other so-called AI platforms. So you have to give an declaration, self declaration. So tomorrow if say I do this declaration and I get this published, and Ankita ma'am finds out that okay, this has been this the same content is available on chat gpt, and if she pursues me, okay, then the publisher won't be responsible. He would share that declaration from me, saying that okay, this gentleman has given this declaration. So don't try to create a mess around in your life. Yes, in any other that you find that we have already point time and again I've been explaining that what can be the better ways of avoiding such issues. Okay, so shall I proceed? If you don't have any doubts on this idea, avoiding how to avoid plagiarism.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So towards the end, I would like to say only few things. Remember that honesty is the best policy. Okay. Wherever you are, whatever you are practicing, irrespective of the field of study that you are into, okay, people do take your research seriously. So if you're honest with yourself, if you're honest in conducting your research, I give you a second bonus of it. Okay, why you should be honest about it. Not only that, because you know we caught in plagiarism and things like that. Tomorrow, if you do your research honestly, you would have something better to share, a field knowledge to share to the class. Remember this always. I give you a larger idea. See, largely our PPTs, the videos or anything that we talk about or case studies, they're available through one or the other medium. Similar, if not exactly the same, similar things would be available. Okay. So, what should a student come to your class for? For this experiential learning. The more you read, the more you research, the more you get into the field, the more you talk with people, the more you get an idea of what is going around in your field like, okay, then the more insights you would have to share with people. The more insights you would have, if you can go beyond the books, if you can share more research on the things, your pointers are there on PPT, but you're talking your experiences, you are talking your things, the better you would sound, the convincing you would sound. If you have not done any research, you have not done things, tomorrow you would also become a guide. Always remember this. So the difficulty that you or any research scholars might have faced because of the so-called poor knowledge of the guide, tomorrow you would be the same one of the person who would be replacing it, and your scholars would be receiving almost zero help from you. Don't be that. Okay. So that's that's something that you must be talking about, that that's the reason why you should be honestly talking about your researches. Pursue researches. I would don't only rely on the so-called the digital media, the electronic media to get your data. I would suggest, if possible, go in the field, talk to your respondents, get that first-hand feel of the data. If your research is like that, if it is possible for you, okay, I would recommend this thing, that go in the field, get that data, okay, so that you can, once you get into the field, you talk to the respondents, you would have a better idea of the respondent. Like I asked you a question, okay, that who takes a major decision in family. So once you go in there and you would find that okay, both the husband or wife and the husband and the wife are earning, and both of them are almost similar type of a salary, then both would be, Ankita ma'am said that both would be taking a decision. Go in Bangalore and you would find most of the decision taken by both husband and wife. Okay. So that you would have some insight to share with your students, and the students, believe me, are looking for some insight. Tomorrow RFI may invite you to some forum like this, okay, and you would be sharing. Okay, and I would be very happy listening to that. Tomorrow, Ankita ma'am, or any one of you would be sharing your research insights onto that. That okay, this is what we learned. Okay, I would be very happy listening to you all. Okay, so hence it is always better that we carry on this thing responsibly and in a very honest manner. These are some of the resources that you can refer to, and that's all from my side. I would pick up one question which is posed to me. Okay. Sir, I'm not pursuing my PhD, but I'm interested to research. How can I proceed to research? Sir, you can pick up your topic of research interest. Okay. If you're talking about a research paper, so you can pick up a topic of your interest, expand it in a research paper. Tomorrow, you know, pick up the next topic of your research, make it a research paper out of it. Do this with another two or three, not more than that. And one out of them, which fascinates you the most, okay, and which you actually enjoy doing, and which has got a future scope, get that into a PhD. Okay, so that mega project from a research paper that can be transformed into a PhD. Now, Sharad sir, your query would be answered by Yograj ji. Yograj ji, आपने query पढ़ ली होगी इनकी, शरद सर की, है ना? प्लीज आप चेक कर लीजिए चैट बॉक्स में और उनको रिप्लाई कर दीजिए, सूटेबल रिप्लाई कर दीजिए. ठीक है शरद सर, आई होप आई हैव आंसर्ड योर क्वेश्चन. Okay, Yograj ji would be attending your query, or someone from the RFI family would be attending. Any questions? Any thing that you would like me to answer further? Any comments you want to make, or anything that if you want to contribute something, the forum is open.
Sir, this session was really helpful.
Thank you, Sharad sir. Thank you very much. It's always Sharad sir, there is a number you can drop a message on that, and it's always good participants like you that. That actually make this session useful. It's always contribution from good people like you that make this session, actually enjoying and vibrant. So thank you all my participants. If you have got nothing, no queries at all, then let's, take it off. Before I announce the closure of this session, I would like to thank everyone from my RFI family for making it possible. Saurabh sir, Ajay Jain sir, Asmi Jain ma'am, Yograj ji, who has been, who is the backbone of conducting such sessions. He keeps everything on the toes. Okay. All my respected participants who have joined in from different parts of the country, everyone who is involved in making sessions, those who those who participated in this directly or indirectly. So every contribution of yours matter a lot. Okay, it's because of all of us and especially all my contributing participants, that session becomes worthwhile. So thank you very much and have a very good evening.
Thank you so much, sir. A heartfelt thank you to you for such an enlightening session. So it was really knowledgeable.
Thank you, Asmi ma'am. Thanks for your kind words and thanks for conducting this session, session so nicely. Thank you very much.
So it's all owed to your knowledge